Good morning. It is 7:42. Tri-Cities Morning News, 610 KONA on your Friday. I'm AJ Brewster. That is Michael McDonald. Thanks for joining us this morning.
You know, it wasn't that long ago, AJ, that we replaced our dryer at home, and that's when I found out about a real need and a real potential danger that might be lurking in your exhaust fan.
Dryer lint.
Yeah. It's the back, and I was surprised. But when they replaced the dryer, that's when I saw all of the lint that was stuck in there. Paul Lindberg joins us on 610 KONA. He's with the company called Dryer on Fire. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you in the studio. First of all, you may know Paul from Tri-Cities back to 1990. You're originally from the area.
Born and raised.
There you go. And then worked for the Herald for what, 9 years?
Yeah, sports writer for about 8 years.
And that's where I initially met you.
Correct, yeah.
So tell me about the company that's called Dryer on Fire, which is kind of alarming in and of itself.
Yeah, well, I give all the credit, obviously, to my partner in Boise, Idaho, who invented the company or came up with the name. But it is catchy, and when we decided to expand the services here, I said, I just got to have the name.
Sure.
I mean, it rhymes, it's catchy, and that's obviously what we are all about, and that is, well, preventing dryer fires.
Right. And with new homes especially, we have a short run on our dryer exhaust, but some of the new homes, there's different designs, and it's farther into the home. It's in the center of the home, not near the exterior wall.
Right, right. A lot of the older homes in Richland, are going to see where the dryer is right up against an exterior wall. So the runs are a lot shorter. But yeah, as you mentioned, nowadays you've got runs that can be 10, 20, 30 plus feet. And so, either exhausting in the crawl space, or through the attic and then up through the roof. So they can be, pretty long and extensive, and that means more and more buildup.
Paul Lindberg here, Dryer on Fire at dryeronfire.com.
Paul, so what should someone look for when they would need to have their dryer vents cleaned out to eliminate this risk? What are some of the signs that you'll see that you could be in danger of a dryer fire?
Sure, and that's the great question is, how do I know if I should be doing this, and what frequency should I be doing it? Your manufacturer or the manufacturer, with the dryer, they're going to say, it should be done on a regular basis, annually or something like that, because if the dryer isn't exhausting appropriately, it's not going to work, and it's going to start breaking down. It's going to just wear and tear, higher, electricity costs. But essentially, what you need to be looking for is if you're having, first of all, any dryer issues. Are the load taking a little bit longer to dry? You might need multiple cycles. But just glancing behind the dryer and looking, are you seeing maybe some lint buildup on the wall, around the dryer and things like that? That's an indication that lint is already starting to back up into the dryer. And that's the danger, is that when the lint is building up inside the dryer, near that heating element is where the fires happen. But what is the major cause of that? It's the lint buildup inside the vent. If it's not getting that hot, moist, lint-filled air out efficiently, it's going to build up into your dryer and then potentially cause a big problem.
So you take these apart. What do you see? What do you see in there? And I know because I've seen some of the videos. It's amazing. Yeah.
I can usually tell how bad the dryer is going to be as far as being, full of lint by doing the vent. And the more lint that comes out of the vent, I have a good idea, well, it's probably going to be pretty bad in there because it's a cause and effect relationship. So, yeah, I've opened up dryers, and that's our dryer cavity service. And, seeing lint already scorched on the heating element, I think, well, here's something that we maybe prevented, a possible disaster.
No kidding.
Wow.
No kidding.
So about how often would you recommend someone gets their dryer vent cleaned out?
Great question. It really comes down to how much the dryer is being used, right? I mean, if you have a family of 4, 5, 6 people and, the dryer is being used often, it's going to be more often than, just a couple, using their dryer, once a week. So it's obviously the amount of use. And if you're doing a lot of towels, we all know after you do a load of towels in the dryer and you check that lint trap, right?
It's full.
That is full, right? And that's probably the number one thing I tell folks is, number one, make sure you're getting that lint trap and clean that out every single load.
Every time.
That's really going to, prolong the life of the dryer.
Well, that's the other part of this whole situation. Sometimes people may think, oh, it's time for a new dryer. It's taking me, a cycle and a half to get the towels dry, for example.
Right.
And it may not be the dryer at all.
Right, exactly. We have a lot of lot of cases where we, meet a customer and they can't understand why their dryer was working just fine in their old house, and then they move and then they, take their dryer with them and then plug it into the vent and they start using it and it is not working as well.
The vent's
having
blocked.
problems because the vent, there's some buildup in the vent. Yeah, exactly. Or worse, it clogged or something like that. But yeah, your point is very valid. Is your dryer may not be, or excuse me, the dryer itself may not be the issue. A lot of times we find, maybe as high as 70-80% of the time, if you're having a dryer issue, gotta get the vent cleaned out. Your dryer is going to perform a lot better.
And you don't just do dryer vents; you also do HVAC vents and all of that, right?
In Boise, we do. Yeah,
Okay.
On our Boise
I was looking
location.
on your website, I was seeing here air duct cleaning. So.
Yep, exactly. Yep, that's so. Charlie is the founder of Dryer on Fire in Boise, Idaho, and so his services are a little bit more extensive. When we expand here in the Tri-Cities, we're starting with one thing only, and that is we prevent dryer fires.
Awesome.
And that's what we focus on. And we want to create awareness around that. Hey, empty that lint trap every time. Make sure that you are looking for signs of lint, build up around the dryer or something like that. And it's a great idea just to get it cleaned if you haven't done it, at least in a long time or ever. And then you set a baseline. Then you can look a year or 2 years, 3 years later and say, oh, okay, now I know what the buildup over this period of time, and you can determine how often you should be doing it.
How much does it cost to have that done, and how far out are you guys booked?
Right now, we're only booked about a week and a half out. So that's good. If people want to get it done right away, they can obviously go to dryeronfire.com, or you can go right to my cell phone or text and call, and we can get an appointment set up. But our standard fire prevention service is $149 for the vent. If you want to do the dryer cavity as well, we'll do an add-on for that for an additional $90.
But think about what that investment will save. In danger to your family, your house, everything that you own is all there. So
yeah, we look
well
at
worth
it kind of like an insurance policy, right? For a little bit of money, you can get that peace of mind knowing that you've eliminated a potential risk in the home with fire.
Peace of mind is priceless.
We believe so.
That's
as well.
really good. That's really good. Dryeronfire.com. Paul Lindberg, thank you so much for coming in this morning. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.